The internet is buzzing after Joe Rogan dropped a shocking revelation about PHS, about Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk. According to Joe, Candace didn't just warn the public, she personally warned Charlie Kirk about his widow, Erika Kirk, long before the scandal erupted. Rogan described the warning as urgent and serious, claiming that Candace had information suggesting Kaz's intentions weren't as pure as they appeared. Fans immediately went wild online. Clips of Rogan explaining the conversation circulated across Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, with hashtags like #CandaceWarned and #CharlieExposed trending within hours. People are questioning why Charlie didn't take the warning seriously and whether things could have turned out differently if he had. Listen. Joe Rogan emphasized that Candace's warning was based on specific observations and evidence, not rumors. He revealed that she had noticed patterns in Erika's behavior and communications that could be considered manipulative and potentially dangerous. While he didn't go into every detail, Rogan insisted that what Candace saw was enough to raise serious concerns. The revelation has sparked a wave of speculation online. Some are now questioning the entire narrative surrounding Charlie and Erika's relationship, while others are praising Candace for trying to prevent potential disaster. With Joe Rogan confirming her warning, the stakes have been raised, and the public is demanding answers. The world is now watching, waiting to see how Charlie responds and whether Erika will address these claims. This isn't just celebrity gossip. It's a story about trust, deception, and the warnings that were ignored. The moment Joe Rogan mentioned Candace Owens' warning about Charlie Kirk's widow, Erika, the internet went into overdrive. Fans, pundits, and gossip enthusiasts alike couldn't believe the magnitude of what was being revealed. According to Joe, Candace had tried to alert Charlie Kirk long before any scandal broke, but he didn't heed her warnings. And now, the consequences were playing out for everyone to see. Rogan explained that Candace had noticed specific patterns in Erika's behavior, in her interactions with friends, colleagues, and even Charlie himself. There were subtle signs that Candace interpreted as manipulative and potentially dangerous. According to Joe, Candace observed Erika controlling narratives behind the scenes, strategically positioning herself in ways that suggested she wasn't as trustworthy as she appeared. Joe Rogan went on to describe the warning Candace had delivered to Charlie, a private conversation where she spelled out her concerns about Erika, emphasizing that certain behaviors and interactions could indicate hidden motives. She wasn't acting out of jealousy or gossip. She claimed to have evidence that Erika might be orchestrating events in a way that could harm Charlie's reputation and personal life. According to Rogan, Candace's warning was urgent and serious. She had hoped Charlie would take it seriously, but for reasons unknown, he did not. Instead, he trusted Erika publicly and privately, unaware of the potential risks. The revelation that someone as experienced and cautious as Candace Owens had raised concerns, and that Charlie seemingly ignored them, added a layer of shock and intrigue to the unfolding story. Social media erupted as Joe Rogan shared these details. Clips of his podcast circulated rapidly across YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. With hashtags like #CandaceWarned, #CharlieKirkExposed, and #CelebrityScandal trending worldwide, fans dissected every word, speculating on what Candace might have seen, how she knew, and what could have happened if Charlie had listened. Every post, comment, and thread fueled the growing frenzy surrounding the situation. Rogan also revealed that Candace Owens' warning wasn't vague. It was precise. She had allegedly pointed out specific actions and communications from Erika that seemed suspicious, highlighting patterns of manipulation and potential deceit. While Rogan didn't disclose the exact content of her warning, he emphasized that it was enough to raise serious concern. A warning Charlie might have regretted ignoring. The podcast audience was stunned. Comments and live reactions flooded in immediately. Many expressed outrage that Charlie hadn't acted sooner, while others debated whether Candace's concerns were based on concrete evidence or personal judgment. Despite the varying opinions, one thing was clear: Candace Owens had attempted to prevent a scandal, and her credibility had been further validated by Joe Rogan's public confirmation. Following Rogan's revelation, some investigative bloggers and news outlets began digging into previous interactions between Charlie and Erika. Social media users started analyzing old interviews, photos, and public appearances, trying to identify moments that might support Candace's claims. Was Erika's behavior really suspicious, as Candace warned? Could subtle cues in videos and statements indicate a hidden agenda? The online community became a hive of speculation and scrutiny. Meanwhile, fans of Candace Owens praised her foresight. Many emphasized that warning someone about a potentially dangerous or manipulative relationship is not an easy task, especially when the person being warned is a public figure with his own life and decisions to make. Candace's intervention, according to supporters, was a testament to her insight and her willingness to speak the truth, even when it might not be welcomed. Joe Rogan also mentioned that Charlie's reaction to the warning was surprisingly casual, instead of investigating further or taking precautionary steps. He reportedly dismissed some of Candace's concerns as overthinking or misinterpretation. Whether this was due to trust, love, or disbelief, the result was the same: Candace's warning went unheeded, leaving the door open for the unfolding scandal that would soon dominate headlines as the day progressed. More context emerged from both online communities and news outlets. Some journalists suggested that Candace Owens' warning could have potentially changed the trajectory of Charlie and Erika's relationship if it had been taken seriously. Others focused on the fact that Joe Rogan's confirmation added credibility to her claims, effectively making them part of a verified narrative rather than mere rumor or speculation. Fans began drawing timelines, comparing Candace's supposed warning to key events in Erika and Charlie's public lives. Old posts, statements, and interactions were scrutinized with renewed interest, seeking evidence of Erika's alleged manipulation or deception. Even minor gestures and phrases were dissected for hidden meanings. Online forums and Twitter threads erupted with debates, theories, and predictions about what might come next. The public pressure intensified as the story gained traction. Erika Kirk faced growing scrutiny, with fans and media questioning her actions and intentions. The contrast between her public persona and the allegations raised by Candace Owens became a focal point. How could someone who appeared devoted and loving to Charlie allegedly act in ways that undermined him behind the scenes? The question sparked heated debates, fueling the scandal even further. By the end of part 1, the narrative had shifted dramatically. Candace Owens was no longer just a commentator. She was now a central figure in exposing potential manipulation within Charlie Kirk's personal life. Joe Rogan's revelation added legitimacy and urgency, ensuring that the public would continue to watch, analyze, and debate every development. The story had evolved from rumors to verified claims, and the implications were massive. The world was left asking questions. Why didn't Charlie listen? What exactly did Candace see that made her issue the warning? And most importantly, what would Erika Kirk do in response to the growing scrutiny? The aftermath of Joe Rogan's revelation about Candace Owens' warning to Charlie Kirk sent shockwaves across social media. Within hours, hashtags like #Candace warned, #Charlie exposed, and #Erika Kirk scandal were trending, with fans and journalists dissecting every detail of the claim. People weren't just curious, they were demanding answers, trying to piece together exactly what Candace had seen, how she delivered the warning, and why Charlie had seemingly ignored it. According to insiders, Candace's warning wasn't casual advice. Sources suggest she had detailed specific behaviors and communications that Erika Kirk exhibited. Patterns Candace interpreted as manipulative and potentially dangerous. These weren't vague suspicions. Candace allegedly noticed consistent signs of control, secrecy, and narrative management from Erika, all pointing to a potential threat to Charlie's personal life and reputation. Joe Rogan described Candace as persistent and concerned. He said she didn't just casually mention her worries. She had urged Charlie to pay attention, to analyze Erika's actions critically. and to consider that her public persona might be hiding private intentions. Rogan implied that Candace had observed a pattern over time, giving her enough confidence to speak out in a way that went beyond opinion. She was warning someone she trusted could be at risk. Social media erupted with speculation. Many users began reviewing old interviews, public statements, and appearances by Erika and Charlie. Clips of Erika's past interactions with friends, colleagues, and Charlie himself were analyzed for signs of manipulation. Some users pointed to subtle behaviors, controlling body language, carefully crafted social media posts, and instances where Erika's narrative contradicted the facts. Others debated whether these observations were circumstantial or truly indicative of deceit. Meanwhile, journalists covering the story emphasized the credibility of Joe Rogan and Candace Owens. Both have large followings and are considered influential voices in the media. Giving weight to the claim, analysts highlighted that when public figures like these issue warnings backed by observation and evidence, it's not something that should be easily dismissed. Candace Owens' reputation for being outspoken and precise only added to the gravity of the situation as the public dissected the warning. Questions about Charlie's response gained traction. Why had he not acted on Candace's warning? Sources close to Charlie reportedly said he trusted Erika completely, believing in her loyalty and intentions. Some suggested he may have underestimated the seriousness of the warning, interpreting it as overcaution. Others speculated that love and personal trust blinded him to the potential danger, leaving him vulnerable to manipulation. Joe Rogan's revelation also prompted legal and investigative analysts to weigh in. Some suggested that Candace's observations, if documented or corroborated, could be significant in understanding the dynamics of Charlie and Erika's relationship. While there might not have been any legal repercussions at the time, the public disclosure set the stage for scrutiny that could affect both personal and professional reputations, adding fuel to the fire. Online communities began connecting Candace's warning to prior events. Fans noticed inconsistencies in Erika's statements, timing of social media posts, and previous interactions that suddenly seemed suspicious in light of Candace's claims. Discussions about possible manipulation, concealed communications, and strategic behavior dominated forums and comment sections. The level of public engagement was unprecedented, with people poring over every detail for potential clues. Even mainstream media joined the conversation. Several outlets published articles analyzing Joe Rogan's revelation, emphasizing the significance of a public figure like Candace Owens issuing such a warning. Headlines highlighted the tension between Charlie's trust in Erika and Candace's observation of troubling patterns, framing the situation as a cautionary tale about ignoring early warnings in personal relationships. Candace Owens herself remained steadfast amid the growing attention. In interviews following Rogan's reveal, she reiterated that her warning was sincere and based on careful observation, not conjecture. She emphasized that her goal was not to create scandal, but to protect someone she believed was at risk. "It's about being honest and vigilant," Candace said. "Sometimes we see things that others don't, and it's our responsibility to speak up, even if the person doesn't want to hear it." The story gained even more complexity when additional insiders shared supporting anecdotes. Several people claimed they had witnessed Erika subtly influencing Charlie or managing narratives behind the scenes. These accounts suggested that Candace's concerns were not unfounded, and that her warning may have been timely and justified. While these claims could not be independently verified, they added to the growing public perception that Erika's actions warranted scrutiny. By the end of the day, the conversation had evolved beyond speculation. Candace Owens' warning, confirmed by Joe Rogan, became a central piece of the narrative surrounding Charlie and Erika's relationship. Fans debated, journalists analyzed, and social media amplified every nuance. What had started as a personal warning became a public spectacle, forcing everyone involved to confront questions about trust, manipulation, and accountability. One particularly striking moment came when analysts revisited Candace's reputation for accuracy and vigilance. Many pointed out that her history of identifying patterns and uncovering issues lent credibility to her warning. Unlike casual gossip, her observations carried weight, and Joe Rogan's public confirmation only solidified her credibility. It wasn't just an opinion, it was a carefully considered alert to potential danger. The online community remained active, with countless threads attempting to piece together the timeline. Users compared Candace's alleged warning to public events, Erika's statements, and Charlie's responses. Some argued that early intervention could have prevented the unfolding controversy, while others focused on lessons about listening to trusted advisors. Candace's warning had become more than just an isolated alert. It had sparked a nationwide discussion about vigilance, trust, and personal responsibility. By the conclusion of Part 2, the story had reached an entirely new level. Candace Owens had issued a warning that Joe Rogan confirmed. Charlie Kirk's response had been scrutinized, and Erika Kirk's actions were under intense public observation. The situation was no longer a private matter, it was a national conversation, filled with debates about morality, trust, and the consequences of ignoring early warnings. The moment Part 3 begins, the story had fully exploded online. Candace Owens' warning, now publicly confirmed by Joe Rogan, dominated conversations across social media, news outlets, and discussion forums. Erika Kirk found herself under a microscope, with fans and journalists alike dissecting her every word, gesture, and post. Meanwhile, Charlie Kirk's decisions were being analyzed and criticized, particularly his choice to dismiss Candace's warning. As the day progressed, Erika finally addressed the allegations, though cautiously. In a carefully worded statement, she denied any manipulation or harmful intent. She emphasized her love and commitment to Charlie, framing herself as a devoted partner, misunderstood by outsiders. However, the public and media were unconvinced. Comparisons between her statement and the timeline highlighted by Candace and Law. Joe raised questions. Why had Candace felt the need to warn Charlie in the first place if Erika's intentions were genuine? Fans dissected her words for inconsistencies. Social media users pointed to subtle phrasing, tone, and omissions, suggesting that her public defense might be more about controlling perception than addressing the concerns raised. Analysts debated whether her message was purely defensive or a part of a larger pattern Candace had observed, painting a picture of a meticulously managed public persona. Meanwhile, public pressure mounted on Charlie Kirk. Analysts and commentators questioned why he hadn't acted on Candace's warning. Some suggested it was personal trust or affection, while others argued it reflected naivety or a failure to recognize the seriousness of the warning. The narrative became not just about Erika, but also about Charlie's judgment, decision-making, and willingness to listen to those trying to protect him. Media coverage reached a fever pitch. Major news outlets and online publications published in-depth analyses of the events, highlighting the timeline of Candace's warning, Joe Rogan's confirmation, and Erika's public responses. Headlines focused on the tension between private warnings and public trust, sparking debates on personal responsibility and accountability. The story didn't remain confined to mainstream news. Social media platforms exploded with discussions, theories, and speculation. Fans revisited old interviews, social media posts, and public appearances, searching for evidence to support Candace's claims. Clips of Candace speaking about her concerns went viral again, each replay reinforcing the narrative that Erika may not have been as trustworthy as she appeared. As scrutiny intensified, several insiders anonymously shared additional context. They claimed to have observed Erika attempting to influence narratives and manage public perception in ways that aligned with Candace's warnings. Though these claims could not be independently verified, they added weight to the perception that Candace had valid reasons for her concerns. The unfolding revelations painted a complex and controversial portrait. Keeping public interest high, the tension escalated further when analysis of Erika's past actions surfaced. Observers noted a pattern of controlling messaging, coordinating public statements, and strategic timing in her social media activity. Many connected these patterns to Candace's original warning. framing them as clear evidence that Erika's behavior warranted concern. Online discussions shifted from theoretical to accusatory. As fans debated the motives and ethics behind Erika's actions, meanwhile, Candace Owens remained a focal point of praise. Her credibility soared as people recognized the foresight, diligence, and courage it took to deliver the warning. Joe Rogan's endorsement amplified her voice, validating her concerns and adding legitimacy to the narrative. Many social media users framed Candace's actions as a crucial intervention that could have prevented personal and public fallout, highlighting the importance of speaking truth even when it may be unwelcome. Charlie Kirk's position became increasingly precarious. The public debate scrutinized his personal judgment and decision-making, while some sympathized, arguing that he had to navigate trust and relationships. Others criticized his failure to act on a clear warning. The conversation extended beyond celebrity gossip, touching on themes of responsibility, discernment, and the consequences of ignoring credible advice. Erika Kirk's silence following her initial statement only fueled speculation. Analysts suggested that her delayed response, combined with Candace's documented warning, created an impression of evasiveness and control. Each day without clarification allowed the public narrative to grow, reinforcing the perception that Candace's warning had merit and that Erika's behavior warranted scrutiny by midweek. The story had taken on almost a historic quality. News cycles, social media trends, and commentary videos focused on the interplay between Candace's warning, Charlie's trust, and Erika's actions. Every development, no matter how small, was magnified and analyzed. Memes, commentary, and news analysis proliferated, cementing the story in public consciousness. Ultimately, Part 3 shows that the repercussions of Candace Owens' warning are far-reaching. Erika Kirk is under intense scrutiny, Charlie Kirk's judgment is being questioned, and Joe Rogan's revelation has added legitimacy to a narrative that has captivated millions. The situation highlights the importance of listening to credible warnings, evaluating relationships critically, and understanding the consequences of ignoring those who seek to protect you. Public debate continues to unfold. Questions remain. Will Erika respond further? Will Charlie acknowledge the warning publicly? And what long-term impact will this revelation have on their personal and public lives? The answers will emerge over time. But for now, the world watches closely, analyzing every move and statement. The story demonstrates the power of observation, vigilance, and speaking truth to influence outcomes, even when ignored initially. Candace Owens' warning, amplified by Joe Rogan, has reshaped the narrative entirely, ensuring that Erika Kirk's actions and Charlie Kirk's response remain under the spotlight. If you thought this story couldn't get more explosive, think again. Joe Rogan has just confirmed that Candace Owens warned Charlie Kirk about his widow long before the scandal went public. And the implications are massive. This isn't just celebrity gossip. It's a story about trust, deception, and the consequences of ignoring warnings from those looking out for you. Now that the truth has been revealed, Erika Kirk is under intense scrutiny, and Charlie Kirk's choices are being analyzed by the public like never before. Social media is abuzz. Mainstream media is dissecting every detail, and fans are debating the ethics, motives, and implications of every action. The story is evolving in real time, and you'll want to stay updated on every new revelation. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on notifications. You'll get the latest updates as new details emerge, including Erika's responses, Charlie's reactions, and further insights from Candace Owens and Joe Rogan. Every development matters, and you don't want to miss a single moment. This is just the beginning of a story that's taking the internet by storm. Stay tuned, stay informed, and watch as the truth unfolds. Click subscribe now and be the first to know everything about this